man. We
So
here.
sit back, grab your drink of choice, and let's dive into some of the games that we think are worth your attention. This is the New Game Plus Game Showcase.
Yeah, also, who picked the name?
New Game.
It's a work in progress.
Wait, what's the name
New
again?
Game Plus shows the showcase.
You plus
of-
the game plus the showcase. Have we
Yes,
trademarked
sir.
that yet? Because I don't.
Oh, God.
That's
Well,
what we got.
cups. We already got
That's
this.
what we got.
Sick name.
The cups are done,
We
dude.
might have to cut our losses.
There's no changing it up.
Cheers.
Perfect.
I like it.
And it's great. Alright guys, so first up we have three awesome games. We have Blind Descent coming from Owlcat. We have Deep Dish Dungeon coming from Behold and Raw Fury, as well as an exclusive interview with the Don Walker creative director.
Okay. What type of game? It's like a survival game. You know I like those. Smash, right? Oh. Okay. Blind Descent. A lot on it. Behold. Make sure the name of the game is on the right. I missed it. It's like a cult. Someone said Minecraft slot. What? That makes sense. It's like a puzzle. It's a puzzle. Okay. Deep Dish Dungeon. Not my cup of tea, but The Blood of Dawnwalker. Okay, so okay, games that usually have these high graphic trailers are like Tetris level graphics in the actual game. You know what? Let me shut up. Let me just shut up. Like, I like this though. I like this.
A Dawnwalker is like a special kind of being in our IP. It's neither fully a vampire nor a human. It's something in between. What this means is basically that you, as a Dawnwalker, you have underwent a transformation. You used to be human. And now, during the nighttime, you do get all the powers and the difficulties of being a vampire. So you get the blood craving and so on. But during daytime, these powers are dormant and you still have to eat. You have all the weaknesses of a human, right? But also the perks of being human. One of the things that is unique to humans in our IP is being able to use magic, so casting spells. The Dawnwalkers are not very commonplace in that IP. They are very, very rare, rarer than vampires. So you as a Dawnwalker are kind of special in this regard. I would say the short-term things that have immediate impact on the character development are you have to feed on, you know, either animals or humans on blood suddenly, right? So you get these cravings, you get these like weird, eerie experiences that you didn't have as a human. Francis and his clique of vampires actually caught him on his low point when he was vulnerable. He has used a specific traits of vampiric blood in order to cement his position in the valley. Because, you know, as you might imagine, having a bloodsucker as your lord might be a tough sell. However, if the alternative is getting sick and, you know, dying in thousands, actually it doesn't sound as such a horrible thing. He tries to kind of distort the religious beliefs in order to install himself as a savior of the valley. We do explore this in the game, so you might see, like, for example, statues erected to Francis, new iconography shown in the local cathedral, for example, and in the castle and so on. There is this whole cult of personality he builds around himself. So
Yeah.
he basically shows himself as something better than the old order, right? We do have a mechanic tied to shrines that are erected across the valley, and Brensis puts a lot of attention to kind of twist them to his own image. And these do have a functionality. When you play the game, we have assigned specific functions to them. Generally speaking, one of the things we wanted to achieve in this game is to have Brensis being this active antagonist. You know, in a lot of games, the antagonists are out there to be defeated, but generally speaking, you have free reign. You do your own thing, and it doesn't really, change much in how they approach you. In this game, what we wanted to do is to have Brensis react to your actions as you complete different activities throughout the valley, as you maybe undermine his operations and so on.
It's kind of like his seal of approval.
It's definitely interesting.
Exactly. So it's like, so basically,
I'ma
the
say
way you
it's-
can think about it is like the more you do in the valley, especially
I'm gonna
if
say
you
it's
undermine
interesting.
Brensis, you will gain notoriety. The more notorious you are, the
It's
more
definitely
edicts
interesting.
Brensis will pass in order to thwart you. So, for
Oh.
example, he might send out more soldiers to patrol roads and villages, right? He might, in some extreme cases, maybe even initiate a
Brother.
lockdown of the city to basically hamper your ways of traversing it, right? There is a number of these edicts we have
serious?
prepared, and each of them is designed to kind of twist and change the general open world gameplay. It also has benefits. There are factions in the valley that dislike Brensis, so the more notoriety you gain, the better standing with them you get, like they actually like that. There is a number of plot lines that you can follow if you want. You can also cut them off because we have added these systems where, for example, you might lose control over Cohen when he's a vampire if he was hungry. You might kill off some important NPCs and then the plot line just cuts off basically, or you get some alternative version. There are some ways to enter the castle in the open world. You can ignore these side plot lines. You can level up Cohen and decide to attack the castle on your own, right?
Out of curiosity, is there romance in the game?
Romance, yes, of course. We do
Oh!
have romance options, yes. We didn't delve deep into like with whom yet.
Okay.
And I'll leave that for the future to talk about. However, yes, you can expect to build relationships with characters. Like I said, there is like one main goal, very varying ways to get to it. These different ways that you pick will impact, what happens with Veil Sangora in the end. And it's all up to you. And I think I really recommend experimenting with this stuff and having fun with it.
First one, Blind Descent, Martian, survival, co-op, adventure.
Gives me Subnautica vibes, and in the best way possible. I really like it, but like more with land exploration, which is really cool. I honestly can't wait to try it.
We're also going to see a lot of survival games today. So I think it all comes down to what the ultimate depth of the game is. But my first thought when I saw Martian land was No Man's Sky. That's obviously like maybe a reach for expectation-wise, and definitely a tall task. But when I heard Martian, I thought No Man's Sky-esque.
Like you said, a lot of survival games, but I think it's popular right now, and I'm hopeful that a lot of them do it right. But this is like going underneath Mars and has aliens. It looks interesting. I like it.
So far, no games really appeal to me.
The variety of ecosystems and aliens and plants that they bring up.
Well, like you said, it's popular right now because people like them. And so they share a lot of things mechanically, but for me, it's usually the vibe. And this one has a vibe.
Yeah, it's a good vibe.
That's why I wonder how that gameplay loop goes. Like, how far down can you go? What kind of biomes are you experiencing as you continue to go down? And like you said, with survivals, we see like a lot of the same loops. So how can they?
Are there trees you can cut?
Yeah, like again, we're gonna talk about it a lot, but if you can cut a tree down, I'm good for survival games. I'm like
At that point,
I'm the target audience.
Then we have Deep Dish Dungeon, co-op dungeon crawling, a survival game, handcrafted dungeon. You gather resources, cook to strengthen your party. You can party up with friends. I'm excited for it.
Speaking of vibes, this thing is a vibe. Like, I don't know what you'd call that art style, but whatever it is, like injected into my
Kind of
veins.
retro, right?
It's like pixel art, but then they also have like some voxel type tech for digging and breaking things. I don't know, whatever it is, I like
What's
it.
voxel type tech?
Okay, so when Luke said voxel, that's big word count number one of the day. when I see that, I'm very basic. I'm like, that's got to be some form of pixel art, which is definitely coming back. I feel like we're seeing more games kind of pull back that old view, that old like Minecraft pixel art, whatever you want to call it.
Minecraft.
voxel view.
I will be honest with you guys. While you guys are talking about pixels, I'm thinking I hope I can kill my teammates in funny ways. So sure, we'll go for the pixels.
Yeah, we were watching the trailer together, and the first thing she was saying was like, "Hey, how do I kill those I'm with?"
I mean, I have to imagine it's a dungeon crawling game about cooking in the dungeon. Surely you're gonna be able to accidentally poison yourselves.
Do you think you can get like bad ingredients on purpose to murder your?
I bet you are gonna have to. I bet you're gonna have to find out.
going there?
So I wonder though, with it being like in dungeons, like if they're gonna have an in-game proximity chat kind of thing.
I hope
It's one of my favorite things in games like this when you're like walking through and you can hear your friend off in the distance. I wonder if they'll do something like that.
The Lethal Company
Yeah.
effects where they're like,
It
far
looks
away.
like you can hear them screaming.
Like screaming
with
right
friends, for sure.
Yeah, like at
Me
least
and Jay gonna be in their edition in that dungeon.
like at least a co-op. He's across the world. I'm like, Rob, you there?
I'm dishing, baby. I'm dishing.
I'm dishing.
Can
Making
you bring the carrot?
What are you making?
Lasagna.
Yeah, no, but it looks very promising though.
Next up, we have Dawn Walker. Lua had a crazy conversation with her creative director. Single player,
Yeah.
vampire, RPG. It looks incredible. I think the 30-day system is awesome and, like you said, gives weight to things. And then the whole, like, there's so many decisions you can make.
What I find really interesting about the game is that Cohen, the protagonist, is half vampire, half man, and even though like all of that sounds great by itself, there's even another layer where
Magic?
at night, of course, he can use vampiric
Oh.
abilities that he doesn't get
The
to
magic
use
part is
during
kind
the
of
daytime.
setting me off. I don't know
His
why.
combat's different. He's not using a sword. He's using claws. And then in the daytime, of course, there's NPCs walking around, and there's maybe patrols going around that aren't there at night. But then there's different ones at night. So
And you can use magic as human. You can use magic as a
That's what
vampire.
threw me off the
and
magic. I don't really like the
basically
magic
what they're
portion.
trying to do is to not just have the time be an element of certain actions to take it forward, but also whether you're playing in day or night, quest lines play out completely
Yes.
differently because people are in different spots, their behaviors are different. This person may be asleep, so you can't talk to them.
Have
but
different
somebody else is there.
abilities.
Exactly.
Well, The Witcher 3 is my personal favorite game of all time. So, and this is former Witcher 3 developers working on this, and so much of that charm was prevalent there.
The music.
The music, just that soundtrack in the short little snippet we saw there, I felt it.
I love that simple separation between day and night and different things coming with your character.
That's got to be like the coolest part of it.
Yeah, because it's got to.
That's the main attraction. That's literally the only attraction to it, to be
During the
honest.
nighttime versus during the
No,
daytime,
nothing
where
wrong
you
with
can
that,
use certain
but-
abilities or different combat styles. I love that part of it.
And so I could foresee a run through, like a play style where you're playing only at night for missions. You're just doing stealthy vampire stuff, and you're eating people, or you're drinking blood rather, not eating people. I don't know, maybe it's that way. But
Whatever
you know,
you want.
the dark run through versus like the light run through in the daytime. The vegan run through. Which has one of those vegan.
Vegan sped run, Don Walker.
Yeah, vegan achievement.
Sponsored by Beyond Meat. The fact that they revealed a little bit about more Brinsis the Overlord is also a system. He really talks a lot about systems that they have not spoke on yet at all, and didn't with us either.
Like the edits. As you go around the world trying to find your information, you can side with different people, and depending on what you do, you can make the Brensis.
Someone
quite
said,
upset.
"Oh my
So you
gosh,
can start
move on."
making laws
Facts.
and
I get
rules
it.
To
But move on. Do not have a lot of
stop you
games
from
to show.
progressing in a certain way.
I also like that Brensis as an antagonist is not just like pure evil, doing all sorts of horrible stuff. Like he is helping the people in some ways in order to get control of them. But he's like curing them of the plague. Like he offers them something they aren't getting elsewhere. So he's doing bad stuff, but there's nuance.
And that typically makes for really, really
Yeah.
good stories.
Harder choices to be made,
perspective, and never a clear cut good or bad.
Yeah, because I bet you there's gonna be a moment where it's
It's
like
one
you
of
could
the
stop it,
charms.
like his influence in an area. That means they're gonna die of the plague. So it's like, do you let the bad guy do the thing that you were trying to stop him to do, or
And it's also about perspective. These people were ruled by a very tyrannical leader before, so even though Brent is a vampire to them, he
maybe
may as
it's
well
worth it?
be a savior, right?
For the next section, we have
Okay.
3, again, I'm going to have to not say incredible games every single time, but we have Prologue, Go Way Back from PlayerUnknown, Beautiful Light from Deep Worlds, and Project Shadowglass from Starhelm Studios.
It's just an infinite map generator with some game loops on top of it. So you have a survival loop, which is pretty hard. Get to the weather tower, we give you a map and a compass and not much else. Some basic survival mechanics, and it's a game against yourself more than anything else and kind of the decisions you make. Then we also have just objective survive, which is just see how long you can last in the world, and free roam for those that just like a hike. The differentiator, or the thing that makes a difference, is that we can generate essentially infinite maps of 8x8 scale. Like, we have a map editor in the game and stuff like that, but we want to be able to give you the ability to give a deep link to someone. So I can just send you like a HTTP link that starts up the game, loads a map and a seed, and I can share stuff I've built with you with just a link, right? So it's kind of, Go Way Back is just, it's a technological experiment that, or proving some technology we've developed. It's no longer an experiment, it's in production, so it works. But it's also going back to my love of survival games and those kind of emergent, just, I'm not giving anyone missions to do, it's just
be there.
And how you get there is fully up to you. Basically, if you play the same
I respect
seed,
that.
you get the same weather, I'm pretty sure you get the same cabin layout, and you maybe get the same loot. So you and 4 friends could technically race to the weather tower and see who gets there first, because you have the same conditions. And while we don't have multiplayer yet, you have this kind of asynchronous multiplayer that, as long as you can share the seed with people. And I thought, wouldn't that be a cool thing for events where you have 16 streamers and see how long they can survive in objective survive mode, right? Or see who can race to the weather tower quickest, or we can set up the weather just to get progressively colder and see who lasts the longest. There's a weather tower on top of one of the higher points on the map. It's generally the other side of the map. We do have prompts now that tell you what to do in the world, but yeah, there's some simple survival mechanics. Keep yourself warm, keep yourself dry, light fires, board up windows, keep your body in a good temperature, get across the map. And we don't tell you where you are on the map, except when you find a new map in the world and it updates your position, you're left for basic navigation. It's kind of set in the 80s, so you don't have digital GPS, stuff like that. I want to make sure that the worlds we're generating have enough depth that when we add story and mission and quest-based content, that the worlds feel like coherent and real enough that it makes sense. Like, I want to have pathing, I want to have like infrastructure, like telephone lines, this kind of stuff, so the cabins aren't just random cabins in the forest, that there seems to be some, like, you know, logical placement of stuff in the world. And once we have those in, then we can more easily go, well, okay, you need to connect all the substations to bring power to the weather tower so you can get a message or go and do various things. Right now, there's a bunch of cabins and there's survival mechanics, but we want to add a lot more depth to the environment. Preface is a tech demo. That I always said I wanted to release a free tech demo of the engine we're building, and that's what Preface is. And the kind of poetic thing is that my last game will be Preface, because it'll just be a visualization of what's possible with our engine at that time. And it's more like Minecraft Survival, that it's an example of what you can do with the engine, and it'll be open source and free for everyone, so you can do whatever you want. So having this kind of digital space, like an internet in 3D, I don't see anyone working towards that. I see small bubbles, but I don't see anyone really trying to do Earth-scale terrain with millions of people. And that's kind of the bigger goal, and that's why we've broken it down into 3 games. The aim is that you should be able to do anything from 10 by 10 to 100 by 100 with 5v5 or 100v100 relatively easily and not have any problems. We will build maybe an Earth-scale terrain, maybe smaller, with hopefully a network layer that supports millions of people. That will be kind of a survival civilization MMO type game. But again, that's just one layer of the world. Like, I want you to be able to just jump around the world and see what's happening, because you should be able to, like, I think if you want to interact with the world, there should be a layer of survival you have to do, or a layer of gameplay in order to kind of leave your impression on the world.
Quebec Charlie to Quebec Romeo Foxtrot. We got your location report. We are monitoring you in the operation zone. Good luck. Over.
I don't know, man. These games are not my cup of tea, though. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like they don't have a lot of games to show. That's why like the talking is so much. It's like they show like 20 seconds of gameplay and then talk for 10 minutes. It's like what?
In a world where pixels were once only 2D, now they're 3D.
Oh, I'm just with you. I'm Dominic John, the dev behind Project Shadowglass, a 3D pixelated RPG that's a love letter to classic immersive sims like Thief and System Shock. This video is a series of prototype rooms that I've been working on some of the core systems in. No art, no assets will be generated by AI. This is all human-made, hand-placed, made by me and artists like me because we love what we do. Headphones, I would highly suggest wearing them. All the audio in Project Shadowglass is going to be 3D, and not just 3D, but simulated. The music emanating from this orb is going into the left ear and the right ear, but as I change the size of the space, you can hear the character of the sounds change.
I ain't gonna lie,
And if we go
not
over
a
the
good.
wall,
And this is first game. This is the
you
new
can still
game
hear it coming
plus
from the opening.
new
if
games plus
you're-
first showcase. It's not a good look. I'm just gonna be honest. It's not a good look, bro. Not saying these games are absolute trash, but brother, you know.
I actually launched the Shadowglass Discord today, so if you have any ideas or suggestions or just want to follow along, feel free to wishlist Project Shadowglass on Steam. I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek on how things are coming along. Thank you so much, all the crew at New Game Plus, for having me. Be well, my friends.
To start with, Prologue Go Way Back, another survival game that we're seeing, and we were talking, it's a bare bones survival game where there is no common enemy. Your enemy is the elements, where you just have to try and survive and make it to that point. So if you guys don't know Brendan Green, he not only was behind the Battle Royale mode of H1Z1, which we talked a long time about, he was also the creator of PUBG. So people have a lot of faith in him and what he calls his 10-year plan, and he talks about his ultimate goal being he wants 1 million players on a server. He wants the internet to be made 3D and for all of us to actually truly be able to play together, which I know is a crazy transition from us talking about a survival game.
Player survival game?
Like we want to cover their survival game because I love survival games, and they're going to be branching out in this game for the next few years until they have multiplayer, until they have weapons, and they have PvE and animals to fight against. But it's also part of a much
Also
bigger
story. He mentioned they will be adding also a story to the
Things to
world.
do, yeah.
Yes.
That's got to be like the most ambitious, one of the most ambitious projects out there right now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy
What's
to
so
think
funny
about.
about him is that he's like, yeah, I want like millions of players to be playing together on like a gigantic map, but You know, not to undersell it.
Shoot for the stars, brother. Shoot for the stars.
No one's done that yet. Next game we talked about was Beautiful Light by Deep Worlds. I say that's a PvPvE tactical extraction shooter. There are 6 3-person squads, and there's also a lot of anomalies and monsters and stuff that we saw in it. Looks like I'm gonna be scared.
It looks very scary.
I mean, I appreciated that it was very immersive. Like he had the sort of Pip-Boy looking thing over there.
Yeah.
And speaking of big words, I actually looked up what that's called. It's called diegetic UI.
Oh, did you say diegetic?
Diegetic.
Thinking the same.
Diegetic. Write that one
We're
down.
all thinking of that word.
But it's really, really cool in games like this, especially because it's like hyper immersive. There's no UI popping up being like, oh, attack incoming. It's just no, you are in the moment, you're in the game. Listen around you, look at the thing on the character itself. I love that.
So you can play as a monster,
Yeah.
or as
really?
You can play both.
or as the soldier. Is there controller support?
I don't know. Good question.
The Valerie, she just threw up in her mouth.
I have nothing against controllers, but I believe there's a right time for mouse and keyboard and a right time for keyboards. And he believes that the right time for a controller is when you're playing shooter games. It's obviously better. The mouse and keyboard is better for that, but not for him.
I would edit my own YouTube videos with a controller. if
Yeah,
I
he
could.
said that
That's
earlier.
How, that's how passionate.
Which is a patently insane thing to say.
Yeah, then we have Project Shadow Glass.
Voxel art. I really enjoyed the.
This is Starhelm Studios. It's an immersive sim. We've all seen it. I think it went viral from that AI post. There was like an AI post that looked just like it, and then he was like, "I'm making a game like this. It's not AI."
I looked up the video because he has a YouTube channel where you can actually see kind of behind the scenes. And when that clip of the AI generated art went viral, he saw it and thought like, I didn't think anybody wanted this. I was just like, it was a fun side project. And then he saw people wanted it and thought it looked awesome, and he put it out, but it's real.
Well, we talked about it earlier. There's a desire for stuff like that. Yeah. More simplicity, kind of retro feel.
It feels like the game is still like learning what it wants to be. Like he's working on the graphics, the basics, the music, and as like they have a bow and an arrow, and hopefully as they work on the project, they start feeling what it will grow to be, what kind of game it will develop itself into.
Yeah, my understanding is right now it is just Project Shadow Glass, and then it's going to eventually become like a video game, but right now it's just kind of proof of concept that the art works, the crazy math behind it works, and like it can grow to a game, but it's certainly very, very
Well, I wish him nothing but success.
Yeah, he seems like
because it seems like I just love a good passion project. Yeah. You can tell there's a lot of heart in that.
And I feel like I initially, like everyone else, why I went so viral, I got attached to that same artwork, but then when he further explains and shows you some concepts that you weren't expecting out of a game with that artwork or that design, when he's showing that you said the R6 lean in there. And you,
that threw me off. The little bow behind. I was like, is that a Rainbow Six?
You threw that in there, and then of course they got the wall grapple, and then with the whole audio design as well. I mean, I'm definitely.
I remember seeing that clip that went viral. I remember seeing it. I was like, wow, that looks incredible. Like walking up to the castle.
Okay. Come on, get heavy hitters.
What I would consider kind of sci-fi games a little bit, but we have Aphelion from Don't Nod, which we have an incredible look behind the scenes of the music with the composer themselves, as well as The Expanse Osiris Reborn from Owlcat. If you're familiar with The Expanse, super exciting, and also Distant Shores, Brittany.
My name is Amin Bouafa. I'm a film music composer, and I am the composer for Aphelion, the video game. I remember having a message from Talal saying that he loved the score of Summit of the Gods, and they are working on a new video game, and inviting me to come to the studio and to meet the team. It was very important for me to understand how the music would be interactive. So how to compose, how to write music that would be interactive, with models, with stems, with separating the different elements, and at the same time, how could the music, how the structure of the music would be an evolving structure. It was very important for me first to have the story of Ariane and Thomas, like
Nah,
the-
this
the
chat
log
is
line is the
crazy,
story
son.
of
You
both of
can't
them,
close
there
it.
is a
You
theme
just can't close it.
that conveys this emotional
Chat is here to stay.
relationship between them, and then the frozen aspect of the music.
How many subscribers can send
for
messages?
me,
Lord.
it was very important first to feel the cold in the music, to feel the wind, to feel the ice. It's an instrument that had been
Yeah, let's go to
invented
top.
by
That's crazy.
the Bachet brothers in the mid
can't close it.
20th
Thanks, YouTube.
century. For me, it looks like an alien instrument. When you see it, you cannot even predict that it's a musical instrument. To play the instrument, you need to get your hands in water and then rub crystal buttons that are in this metal structure could convey this frozen identity of the score, and at the same time having this magical sense of in the score.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who appreciate the little details like in the music and how long it takes and the details of it. I just want the gameplay to be good. I don't really care if it's AI slop music or,
to get this huge instrument and that it
you know,
also play very soft. The organ
someone
has a
brought
lot
Beethoven
of
back to life and
sounds.
had
It
him
could
make
be
the
very
score
soft,
for
it
it. Like
could be
it just
very
don't matter to
aggressive,
me.
it
I'm
could
gonna be honest with you.
large,
It
it
just
could
really
be
doesn't matter to me.
intimate. For me, it's the planet.
How the music is, if it sounds good, cool.
Suddenly very,
Is the gameplay great?
say, very dangerous,
Fantastic. That's
and
kind of how I
very
want it to be.
sacred at the same time. So I thought that the organ could give this majestuous feeling to the score. I'm so happy to write the music for Aphelion. It's the first time for me to write a video game score, and it's a lot of fun and a lot of passion.
I have to see gameplay. I bet it's okay. It's all about music, bro. Come on, bro.
We had some discussions at early stages of the production, to be honest, whether to go fully class system or something else. And again, we started with sitting down and lining up what's possible ways that the player might perceive the game, the power fantasies, how he can express himself in combat. So he might want to be a sniper, he might want to be a hacker, maybe an engineer, something else. As we designed those playstyles, we thought how to mix it up a bit, how to let player to experiment with what he encounters during the game. So, for example, when he finds a neat shoulder cannon, as we shown in the announcement trailer, even if he is a sniper, he might want to experiment with that. Why not? It fits the universe, it fits the playstyle. He might want to see how it works, and so we decided why not to give him the possibility to do that. That was the idea behind the playstyle. So playstyle is basically the starting preset that kind of gently guides you towards the certain direction of your power fantasy of how you play the game. At some point, the player will need to commit to his choices. So again, it's an important part of the choices system, you know. If you just can switch everything on the fly, that kind of makes your choices less important. So at some point you need to stick to particular guns, particular gadgets, and you just build around them. We give you some time to experiment, but you will need to commit. During the character creation, you will have to choose between three major factions. Your origin, so you'll be either Belter or Earther or Martian. Facial customization, appearance, you can choose your body type.
So you will be playing as a Pinkwater mercenary with different type of origin that you would create. You will have your sibling with the same, like, identical one. They will look a little bit different because they're their own person. They have their own personality. These events are set during the first 3 books, I think. You will start on Iris and witness.
It's not. This game doesn't look that bad. It's the best game they showed so
events
far.
from a different angle, and this part will be to some degree shown in your character creation.
Every companion should belong somewhere in the universe, and they have their own background, consisting of their faction and their acquaintance. They have some background story, their own struggles. All this stuff will influence how they perceive the situations player encounters. So in every major plot event, they will have their opinions. They might hint you towards some decisions. They might provide you some assistance, or maybe even some crucial context to go for help, for advice, for military support, maybe. Of course, they will have their own stories, their own struggles, and you can choose to help them, or maybe to ignore their own stories, totally depending on how you want to be invested in this particular companion. The choices you make for those companions also will matter in long term.
Yep, some of them will have romances, and you can see on our background companions.
Perfect,
We cannot
thank
say who is going to have romance, but there will definitely be romance in our game.
It's a small crew on the small ship. You know, the Expanse, it's a universe where everyone flies in very tight spaces for a very long time. So there is a dynamics in the crew as well. We have a few layers of the combat system. First of all, it's obviously the gunplay. A few classes of weapons that you can use, and mostly you do it from the covers, so it's a cover-based gunplay game. And the second layer of the combat system is that's your abilities, that they might be more like offensive ones, maybe something like a grenade or a shoulder cannon, or maybe something more defensive like a shield, or maybe a protective drone. A lot of gadgets that you can choose from depending on your playstyle. And as Julia mentioned, there are some playstyles that are mostly focused on using your gadgets rather than using your weapons. Third layer, but still very important, that's obviously your companions. They have their impact on the combat. They have what we call combat opportunities. That's particular situations when you can order your companion to use an exploit in the arena, in the environment, to gain a certain advantage in combat. We decided against the management, the gameplay part of the survival stuff. So you won't be counting your gallons of reaction mass or how much water you need to recycle before it dries out, nothing like that. But still, the Expanse universe is very dangerous. So in terms of narrative, the survival will be a part of the game. You will have a tremendous enemy. You will have a lot of very dangerous situations that you will have to get out somehow. There will be a lot of will in terms of your player experience, just not as a particular mechanic. You will be able to fly around the solar system. You will be able to visit various planets. We mentioned it before that we have Luna, Mars, Ceres, Io, and some other cool places to visit. And some of those places will be like major social hubs where you can just walk around, meet other people, drink at the bar, shop for better equipment and stuff like that. So you will have plenty of places to go and to visit and to look at. The Expanse universe is cruel, and some characters might die because of your choices. Stay tuned for more. We will show more very soon. Have something cooking. I hope you will like it.
Welcome back, Aaron.
We trust your flight was smooth. We have landed you on the outskirts of Genyak Island. Stay alert.
Hey, Aaron, it's Thomas. You know, your brother. You said you would visit me here, but you never did. Look, bygones be bygones. Just find me in the West Zone. I'll be waiting. Sometimes I dream about what's under the ocean. A distant shore, waiting to be explored.
Okay. I don't know if this game looks good because it's actually good, or it looks good because compared to the other stuff they actually had, it just looks miles beyond. It looks a lot better than those, so it just looks good. Just by association. Parkour, parkour, come on. Interesting. Someone said in chat, I don't know. That's enough gameplay? Nah, more gameplay. As much as possible. Less talking, more gameplay. Game's interesting.
Slipping boats on the faucet. Such a peaceful place.
Okay, I ain't gonna lie, that's enough gameplay. You're right.
It's a wonderful way to be free.
There we go. Distant Shore. Copy. I don't know if I pay to play it.
Let's start with Aphelion.
My understanding is it's a dual protagonist game, so you'll actually be swapping back and forth as they sort of work together.
I actually don't like that they have to talk about every
parts where
single
you're
game.
separated, parts where maybe you're together, working together.
Very emotional story.
I don't like that.
There's so much potential for stories like that. The dual protagonists, seeing
feel
it
like
converge in the end.
You know it's going to be an emotional game, especially when they put so much emphasis in the music. I
Yep.
feel like music is a tool to catalyst emotions, so it's definitely something that
We were actually talking about that earlier today, music and video, and not just video games, and art in general and
Good
media.
music changes
It
a
changes
game
everything.
from a game being a good game to a memorable game. A game that
But
will
it has
stick
to be
with
a
you
good
in a
game
long time, so.
in order to
Donut
be
has
to go to memorable,
pretty
right?
storied background when it comes to narrative games, whether it's like Life is Strange or like one of my old school favorites, Vampire. Like they try different stuff, weird stuff even sometimes, and so this is exciting to see them doing something
They were
different.
using the super alien music instrument, so.
Yeah. What was it called? Is that
The Crystal Bachette.
Crystal? But
Oh, you're talking about the hand wedding one?
Yeah.
You're really into this hand wedding, right? That's like the only
I
thing
kind
you
of
took
want to
away.
try it, honestly.
I mean,
How do you discover that technique of like, oh, that makes that, yes.
now this is an award-winning composer of the Summon of the Gods as well. So what I find super impressive is just, I feel like people sleep on music so much in games, and then you see behind the scenes of this entire, like, they're in a famous church in Paris playing the organ.
Actually has been a blast to see video game music evolve during the years. Like, video games has some great music, like
It's one of those things, when it's working, you like a lot of time you don't think about it. When music is really good,
All
in the
you're
game,
thinking
you
about?
don't really think about it. But then when it's exceptional, like an Expedition or like the Witcher vibes, you know, then you really remember it. But a lot of the games you play, you probably don't look up the soundtrack, even though the game is pretty good, you know?
Ironically, my Spotify rap this year was like mostly video game scores. I think there's often correlation though whenever a developer does take the music very seriously in a game. It often reflects
I'm sure
in
they're taking other parts
it
out.
reflects in every other. I mean, think about it. All the games that have like you think about the games with the best scores ever, like you just said, The Witcher 3 or whatever. I mean, it correlates to everything else. Every other aspect of the game, they take it seriously. So.
Another sci-fi game that is probably one of the most anticipated sci-fi games for a very long time is The Expanse: Osiris Reborn, which is from Owlcat as well. It is a third-person action RPG, obviously set in the Expanse universe.
The Expanse is a book and a show, so they are taking inspiration from both, but at the same time, it doesn't require previous knowledge of either for you to be able to enjoy this. In this game, you're going to be living more or less through what happens in the show. However, from a different perspective, from a different side, with your own group of people, with your own environment, that you got to make your own choices.
I think an important thing to frame all of the Expanse game with is that coming from Owlcat, they are a studio that did like Rogue Trader, for example. Their bread and butter is intense, gritty narratives with unbelievable levels of roleplay depth and choice and consequence, complex systems that interweave. And so seeing them go into this, which is of course a third-person cover-based shooter with many RPG mechanics, it's a different road. And I asked him about that in our interview and was like, how did this happen? Because typically they do sort of an isometric thing. And they just said when we decided we wanted to tackle the Expanse, it required that cinematic flair, and that's what they tackled. And they're doing a phenomenal job. I mean, the game looks beautiful.
It looks very interesting to me. It looks kind of like.
It looks the most. It looks at least somewhat interesting, which is more than I can say for the other games.
The choice and the reputation you have with your companions will change, because your companions, they told us, will disagree with some of the stuff you do. They'll get upset or
they will have their own opinions.
They'll have their own opinions, and they also, one interesting tidbit they mentioned was that when you are making choices in the game, they're not necessarily going to tell you if that was a big moment, if that what you just said to them is going to seriously affect this thing over here. It will, but that's all behind the scenes.
Their game was Distant Shore, Brittany. This is what went viral as almost a portal with magnets, and I think it looks like a lot of fun.
It's such a unique concept. I could see it being big time.
You know,
Like,
it's
really
one of those
is.
games like you didn't know you wanted, but then you see it and you're like, oh, that looks like it tickles a part of my brain. Yeah.
Like we've seen
very
versions
good.
of it before, but with everything it combines, because it makes everyone think of a different game when you see it. Because we've heard Half-Life, we've heard Portal. I thought of Only Up during some parts of it.
Yeah, I had Only Up.
And other
I thought
puzzle-
Mirror's Edge a little bit with like the parkouring while moving stuff.
See, it makes us think of so many different things at once. So I think it's gonna do.
Just
really
watching some of that gameplay, I could see the rage already.
Oh yeah, the boss.
Oh yeah,
not
that-
happening.
Well, and I think it's also really cool that they have boss mechanics, because like you can tell it started with the idea of using magnets to like manipulate the environment, but then they're like, okay, well, we could raise the stakes, take it up a notch with these boss fights that are organic in the space. And
It also mixes up because it's not just a puzzle game, so there is more to it and more that you
Yeah, there's a world that he even showed as well.
It's more than just a puzzle game. Like there's a narrative behind it.
Exactly. Like they could have just stopped with a puzzle game. I think a lot of people would have been perfectly happy with that. But then they go and build on that with a story, boss fights, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, if it's not just reach a destination or do a final thing, but it's actually a narrative, like you said, that's really cool.
I think it's one to keep an eye on. Yeah.
Next up, we have two very exciting updates coming from Obsidian, that being some updates for Avowed as well as Grounded 2. We also got exclusive time with them and had some interviews, which were very exciting.
Avowed is a Obsidian first-person action RPG set in the world of Pillars of Eternity, where the player plays as an envoy sent by the Emperor of Adir to the Living Lands to investigate a mysterious plague that's kind of spreading throughout the lands, causing chaos, and you play as the envoy trying to figure out what's kind of going on down there. Do things that affect it in positive ways, negative ways, or in between type of ways, with that type of choice and consequence. In terms of, the post-launch things we've been supporting on it, like we've gotten a bunch of abilities added to the Ranger and Fighter trees to kind of more fill it out comparatively to the Wizard tree. Aspects about it that are like Arachnophobia mode, that was like a big community requested feature, as well as, changes to progression, improvements there, gear improvements, and as well as bug fixes and crash fixes.
And you can play now as the different species.
Yeah, we've added different species. The Amauin, Orlins, and Dwarves are now playable. A lot of our decisions we make are revolving around the player community, so we work, really closely with our community management team. We get like a spreadsheet, kind of see what the things that are bubbling to the top. Like an example, like quarterstaff was something where just we wanted to feel like more like a wizard, right? That kind of wizardy vibe, as well as playing as Orlins. Like I think players just were bummed that we didn't include that in the base game. So I mean, it really comes down to like the time and what the community wants, and that's kind of how we decide to go about it. Yeah.
We notice like players really role play their characters in the game, so we always want to give them as many options as we can to like customize their features or character, to kind of have this fantasy in this world. As they journey through the story, we just wanted to give them as many possible options as they can to really make the character they want to make, and just make it just their own. Stuff like all the playable races, we discussed it early on in Avowed. It's something both previous Pillars games had. It's a lot of work and a difficult thing to really nail down, especially in Avowed with its parkour systems and its combat mechanics and all the weapon types and stuff like that in the game. Our different races are different sizes, they're different shapes, they're a very unique game experience when you play as each one of them in a first-person game specifically. So it was something like new to wrangle for Avowed. We had no time to finish it as we're making Avowed, and now we can give it to the players, so it's a more rounded experience compared to the original Pillars games. It should be a whole new way to play the game. If you pick an Orlin or an Amawa, it makes you feel completely different in the world, especially if you use third person or first person. It changes it again, how you feel and present in this game, so it's pretty awesome that we can finally bring that.
New Game Plus allows the player to bring over all their abilities, all their equipable gear. It does reset it back to level 1, so it's not like you're just outright OP basically, but you'll have the end game gear with all its like enchants to be able to just start the new game, as well as we have like modifiers on enemies that kind of either make them more resistant to some of the elemental types, or modifiers that make them more resistant to being stun locked or hit reacted. And that kind of gets sprinkled in kind of somewhat randomly throughout that New Game Plus experience to kind of get that added challenge, but also let the player still feel somewhat like they're accumulating their abilities over the course of multiple playthroughs. So.
We notice players like to take photos of their envoys, but it's very difficult in the game. You have to get the camera just right to get a certain distance from the character, or capture the shot in a conversation when you see your character. So this allows you to really get into it and capture some awesome shots or some scary shots, depending which way you're going.
We're super excited to announce that Avowed's finally going to come out to PS5. Pre-orders are going to be live today. Keep an eye out on our socials, and we'll announce when the store page is open.
2 is a survival game. It is set in a gigantic city park. You play as a teenager who has been shrunken to roughly the size of an ant, and you just have to survive in this environment with, insects that are the size of a bus, and figuring out how to eat and get some water and fight those bugs and craft new materials and new weapons. As you go and gain in power and get over those initial survival challenges, you can sort of get into the story of what has really happened in this park. A number of huge updates planned for the park. This is the first big content update that we have. We've been calling it the winter update. It's really about adding in this next big chunk to the park, and that comes with a lot of things that are very, very exciting for us. With this winter update, which is the community garden, is attached right to that early picnic area. On the map, it's just to the east of it, behind the gigantic statue of Tully and Burgle. This was our opportunity to really start delving into a brand new biome with everything that entailed. You've got a vegetable garden, you've got a greenhouse, and you've got a pumpkin patch. All of these introduce a lot of new and different types of artwork and places for the player to explore. And then, of course, we need all the insects that go in these areas too. And so a ton of new insects that are in there. As I love to say, all of these insects, you can fight. Maybe they're docile and you can attack them. Many of them are aggressive and will attack you. And regardless, you fight them, learn their tactics, and then eventually turn them into fashionable attire and new weapons.
Going to a new biome, a new area in the park allows us to fully lean into what makes the park unique from the backyard. And for us, that means that mixture of really organic structures as well as that man-made touch, that this was designed by humans at human level.
Wasps are coming back, which are a lot of fun to fight, but can be kind of annoying. Again, this is a survival game, so excited about those things coming back. Black ants are also coming back too, and like with both of those, you get sets of armor and different weapons that you can craft after you've defeated these creatures. We're more excited about the new creatures that are coming in the garden update, though. So we developed a brand new creature in the cricket. The cricket is pretty big. Again, this is the size of a large bus, probably. It has some very unique.
I played the first round. I thought it was okay. I didn't beat it.
It can also, of course.
But I thought it was. I like the concept of it. I'm not sure how.
It has its own armor sets. It has its own.
I'm not sure it needs a second game though.
Weapons that you can craft based upon it, and then the same thing for earwig. We actually have two different types of earwig. There's sort of a ranged earwig and a melee earwig that tend to travel around together to thwart the player with their strategic opportunities. Again, you can turn those into armor, of course, turn them into your base furnishings. You can turn them into weapons, and we think they'll offer some exciting and unique combat opportunities.
We really want Grounded 1 players to be excited to see these creatures again, but also to be surprised and delighted by the changes. Just like we did in the picnic area, we've revamped the combat. So that means even looking at the old legacy creatures and going, okay, how do we make them a part of the system? How do we make them challenging in this new dance? How can we leverage our systems to make them more interesting? And so hopefully there's a couple of twists coming, even with the old favorites, that will keep veteran players on their toes and will surprise and delight new players.
We have a brand new buggy, the Ladybug buggy, which you'll be able to get and raise and hatch and then ride around in the yard. And we're pretty excited about all that stuff. Like, I think all of it is coming together just really well.
I think every
I need to get my
single
PlayStation
player
working
from
again,
Grounded
bro.
1 at some point jumped on the Ladybug and let it transport them around.
real.
And we often joke that
need to
was
get that
the
working
original
again.
buggy prototype.
I might try it right now.
And there's something so iconic about the Ladybug and getting on it and wanting to ride it that it felt like an inevitability for us. But what's important for us whenever we do introduce a new buggy is we don't want it to just be another one or just a horse, And so it really boiled down to what can the Ladybuggy bring to the table that the other ones weren't? What can make her stand apart and bring a utility and an experience to the player that the other buggies aren't? How can we carve out her own little niche in the game? She's the tank, she's the one who can get into those really tough fights and withstand those large swarms of insects. And that's where the idea of the water cannon on her back and players being able to shoot at their enemies, and that ended up providing a ton of gameplay opportunities and a really unique experience. Being able to shoot down the aerial insects that are often a bit more challenging and a bit more frustrating for players. Well, now you have this ranged weapon that you can take them down with that feels super satisfying, almost like an anti-air gun. For us, as soon as we crack that, it felt like, okay, there she is. That's her niche. And now it's just about bringing that experience to life and finding moments in the garden experience to really highlight that and let that shine for the player.
All right, Grounded 2.
We saw Avowed, great interview that you did over there. We see now that we have New Game Plus coming, there's a photo mode, a new weapon type, changing appearance, there's new character presets, you got new races, which
species,
I'm sure,
yeah.
Lula will have a lot of fun with.
Yeah, they're doing a lot, and I mean the game, of course, launched earlier this year. Obsidian's been very busy,
yeah.
And they're doing these free updates now, and so they also are adding New Game Plus, which adds a whole new reason for you to go back through the game. So the game is coming to PS5.
Yay! We got another one.
We got
Avowed Platinum Trophy was insane.
Here we go.
Yeah, the thing.
Ha ha ha
And
ha.
it's available for pre-order as of
Right
this
now?
show going live. So right
Let's
now.
laugh so we can
Now,
pretend we're
when I
having
talk
fun.
to
Ha
them,
ha ha
they're, say how important the community is to them, how they've listened to a lot of their feedback, like adding arachnophobia mode on Grounded.
I was gonna say, Luke, if I'm scared of spiders, what do I do?
Yeah, there's arachnophobia mode, but that's kind of their driving force, is looking at the community, what the community is saying, communicating. They're like, hey, we'd like more species and more customization options in Character Builder. Okay, we'll do that, and it's just really nice to see them do that. They could put it in a paid package, but they're not. They're just, it's a labor of love, and that's.
I really like how, as you're going to New Game Plus, you can also change your character's appearance. So you keep some of your skills and stuff, but if you are tired of how your character looks, or you want to do something new, try a different race, you can do that by just going to New Game Plus. You don't need to go back to the beginning.
Besides that, we also had Grounded 2, which is bringing the Garden of Brook Hollow Park that is now going to be
Okay.
a new biome. They have new creatures, new tools, a new mushroom brick material that you can build more stuff with, and also a new ladybug buggy.
A ladybuggy.
So sweet.
For those of you watching, it's a play on word.
Allow me to explain.
Ladybug E, because you can mount it and ride it like a buggy.
Yeah, and speaking to the listening community, they also take a lot of feedback. This is a game that launched back into early access back in July, and so this is a major winter update is what they're calling it, and it was heavily requested to have more types of transport, which they are still planning more for the future that people can be excited about, but they always listen to feedback about, should an insect be an enemy? Should an insect be what they call, is it docile or docile? From Iowa.
Whatever you prefer.
Yeah. Different insects can be friendly, some can be enemies, and then of course they can also treat them now as transport as well.
You looked at Luke when you asked.
Well, I'm not looking at you. And so with this update, they're doing this throughout a lot of the timeline. Like they're going to give you a lot of these big updates, and you're going to be kind of surprised of when it first released early access, there was still plenty to do. It was a survival game, but if you were a fan of Grounded, the original, you knew they were still going to have a great winter update for you like this, and so they have a lot on their roadmap, but because of the way the game is oddly scaled down, it's from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like the way it's shrunk down, they have so much they still want to do and will be doing for a long time.
Well, and that cricket.
Yeah, the cricket thing looks
that thing's
terrifying.
horrifying. It turns around and
You're like, wait, what's he doing? What's he doing?
Spreading. I gotta give them credit. Like Obsidian's been so crazy busy. Like the fact that you can put out 2 pretty sizable games in 1 year. And a bunch of updates for it.
And it seems like they were cooking something huge, right? Because
yeah, they just had Tim Kaine come back out of retirement. He's one of the creators of Fallout back in the day, and he
didn't he also was some of the original creators of Vampire Bloodlines?
I think he did.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
He's kind of a legend of the industry. He in 2020 went and started doing consulting work with Obsidian, but he was, in his words, semi-retired, but he's actually gone back to Obsidian to work full-time in office, moved to the studio on some project that's unannounced, and he said, don't bother guessing.
The fuck is
you will
Sand?
not guess it. So, new IP. Something crazy, who knows, but they are
Or
busy.
he's trying to throw us off.
It's hard to not see hope, at least for Fallout stuff, because
It's good, Marcus.
the TV show being excellent and everyone itching for more Fallout, so
Call.
next up, we have 3 fantasy RPG games that are looking very cool, as I would say. This is going to be Outward 2 from Nine Dots Studio, a follow-up to their other survival game, Outward, obviously. We have Varan's Call by Titan Rock, and then we also have Dragon Twin by Draconic Interactive.
Outward is an open world RPG, which for once you're not some kind of special superhero or the last child from a prophecy. You're just a dude or a dudette. And the reason why we are downscaling who the player is because they want to be immersed more than they want to be powerful. And that was the big change in our approach. And we made all of our design decisions to be in alignment with this vision. If you were just a regular person and you wanted to think like a human would, but in a fantasy world, it's when you are aloof, when you're just like, that's not so dangerous, I've done it before. And that's when life just snaps back at you, right? In real life, that's like that. It should be like that in the design as well. So one gigantic thing is the character creation. In Outward 1, like, we had very ugly protagonists. And we didn't have a lot of options. You know, you had like 3 skin colors, a handful of faces, a handful of haircuts, and that was it. It feels like really drawing yourself into an RPG. You choose a background, you choose traits, you have a very granular system to modify and customize your character to your liking. One of the big thing is you choose one of 3 starting locations. So as a regular person, what justifies throwing yourself into danger? How do you become an adventurer? Well, we have 3 different quests depending on which city you choose. So if you are in Simeon's Bastion, you are a homeless person, you're desperate. In Tramontane, you are a miner and you're trying to like improve your status and your quality of life. In Haboob, you are just a clerk who just bought a house. What could possibly go wrong? You know, and very mundane situations, like you're not special or anything, but something special happens to you, and then you have to live up to the situation. We want a weather system that is very dynamic. So now we have a year-long calendar.
I ain't gonna lie, these games are not doing anything for me right now.
It's gonna be winter and then it's spring.
Other than that one
Summer
space
does
game,
change.
I know they're trying to take over E3.
Stuff can be found, what kind of armor
It's just
you need to
not.
wear. Dual wielding is gigantic.
It's
So
just not that
now
good
you
to me. I'm
can
not gonna lie to you.
combine anything that goes
I
into
wish
it.
that I had a better
And
answer.
That opens up a lot of
I really don't.
Outward 1, like you had your offhand, you could only have a set amount of things, and you had your main hand. Now you can just interchange it. You can
I
have 2 shields if
really
you want.
don't. You didn't have to
It's
slave
I know
shift,
it's kind of-
Marcus, if you're still
but you
here.
can. Of course, like just visually, and the fact
Today?
that it's much more lush, it's more filled, it's more visually vibrant. That's going to be something that people will notice very quickly. Just like in Outward 1, we have 8 skill
Yes, I
trees,
could cut
and
these.
all those skill trees have some exclusive skills. So if you take one,
What is Wizard 101?
and you have a maximum of 3 breakthrough points, so there's only 3 skill trees that you can learn from to the maximum.
Brother.
abilities. Otherwise, it will have like the first few layers of skills available. One thing we've added are the attribute points, the core stats, so strength, agility, constitution, willpower, intelligence. We added those. We're gonna track a lot of different things that you do. They're all gonna have like different thresholds. So let's say you dodge attacks successfully a certain number of times, you unlock a node that will give you a passive trait and increase your agility. So very small incremental changes. We start with very simple things and it expands us in more and more circles. So you won't be able from the very start to unlock all 3 skill trees just because you have the cash to do it. You will have to have experience. You will need to have practiced the life of danger in Ori to be able to understand, like get to the next level of the skill trees. Other than
Okay.
that, well, I think it's important to note that all 4 regions are new regions, so it's really just completely new environment to explore.
Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into our upcoming action RPG, Varan's Call.
RPG.
The world of Leda is entirely shrouded by darkness on one side, while scorched by endless sun on the other. These incredibly hostile areas are known as the Forsaken Realms, which, as you may have noticed, is the name of the universe we are meticulously crafting. Your first steps within the Forsaken Realms will take you to the Vale of Varin, a city on the brink of collapse, and the first of our narrative-focused adventures. You'll step into the boots of a lone mercenary, seeking to answer Varin's call for aid, and maybe earn some gold and glory along the way. It's clear that Varin needs a hero, and every hero needs a way to slay the countless fantastical beasts they'll encounter. Varin's Call aims to cater to a wide range of playstyles, offering you the freedom to combat the unknown in a variety of ways. Whether you prefer to be a nimble-footed archer, flinging fireballs between arrows, or face your foes toe-to-toe as an axe-wielding whirlwind of death, the choice is yours.
The choice is yours.
Means you're never locked into
Bane.
playing a specific way. You have the ability to adapt, alter, or completely switch playstyles midway through your adventure. Unlock and spend perk points to obtain new skills and abilities, and level up your mercenary's core stats by gaining character experience. Hidden chests throughout the world will reward you with a range of weapons, armor, and unique trinkets, some providing unique effects to help you gain an edge in your next combat encounter. The local hamlet of South Vale acts as a hub, a safe space that provides various amenities for you to further develop your character. Use the forge to upgrade the weapons and armor you find throughout the world, and the dismantling bench to deconstruct items for materials. The spellcraft.
These games are bad, bro. Like, this is just proof that gaming is so bad right now, man. And that's why the same games be played all year long, every year.
Use the trap making bench to upgrade and unlock new traps and gadgets. A nice complement to your arsenal, allowing you the opportunity to catch your enemies off guard. And finally, the Alchemy Cauldron. This can be used to custom brew a multitude of mixtures, from replenishing health and restoring stamina to curing yourself of nasty status effects. These concoctions are sure to aid you on your journey. Okay, great. So you've equipped that shiny helmet, purchased that slightly overpriced magic spell you always had your eyes on, and upgraded that new Polybuster barrel to the volatile variant that has even more boom. You're ready to get back into the fight, but maybe you want a change of pace. Yes, you're supposed to be the hero and save the city, but heroes need...
I'm waiting because usually for Gaming Awards they have the biggest game last.
And quirky characters from all walks of life need your help with their problems.
Then you've come about the job.
You might find yourself involved in a murder mystery, helping a local peacekeeper catch the criminal behind the death of her beloved friend. Or maybe you're on a mission to rid Varin of the Gnomi scourge that plagues the city, all because a crazy guy in an outhouse called you a hero?
I know the truth!
Maybe we should stick to the main task at hand after all. Varin's Call is
Ha ha ha, that's a joke, right? Ha ha ha.
controller support, with the aim of releasing on consoles at a later date. Our game is inspired by classics like Fable and The Elder Scrolls, so if this sounds like your kind of adventure, consider heading over to Steam and adding it to your wishlist to stay up to date with us.
Nah, I'm good though.
We'll see you mercenaries soon.
Come on, man. These games are trash.
first question I had was, how hard is this game going to be? Because the most common question about the original Outward was, okay, this is like, does it have to be so hard?
I actually got to play the game in the alpha version, and I got my ass kicked.
I'm glad.
Deserved. But it's actually amazing. Like, I actually really enjoyed it because exploring this game felt very rewarding, and there's like a camping system, so you can camp like right outside like the enemy zone, and then you prepare like your weapons and everything to wreck the enemy, because if you don't prepare, oh, you're in trouble.
It's known to be a very, very hardcore survival, and when I was talking to Guillaume, he was like, if you die, it is likely your fault. And we all heard him say, like, it's not hard, but it is demanding, and they always at all times want to live up to those words, which is really awesome. And they will have a pack mule, which he said, of course, shocker, can die if you don't take care of it.
Of course.
But it's, one of the big struggles was with inventory and spacing along other struggles that players had to really try and, play out this game. Like you were saying earlier, you can't dilly-dally in this game. You have to really know what you're going to do, and eventually you'll get a hang of things. But another big one was dual wielding. So you can dual wield, he says, anything in the game. You can even double shield it up, which he says is not recommended.
You can attack with the shield. It's super cool.
He really loves to stress all of these
It's like a microwave, bro.
Like, you can sprain your ankle, you can perforate a lung.
Trauma.
She has clearly sprained. You can sprain her.
I also got brain damage.
You can have a concussion. It will all impact you, and all these ailments like take different lengths of time to recover from.
I got a concussion in game as well. It was really tough.
As well.
What were you doing? What were you doing out of game?
It was it was just kind of like a play on, because whenever I told people I got a concussion, brain damage in game, a lot of people in my chat would say like in game.
Sounds like the most hardcore of hardcore survivals.
It was really fun, and you can also play with friends, and then things become a lot more bearable.
They've showed the split screen.
Yes, you can play split screen with your friends, and it's really nice. Especially because then, like, you get beaten up, and then your friends get beaten up, so and then you know.
can get digital concussions together.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Forsaken Realms, Baron's Call. We were all sitting here saying it looks incredible.
It looks sick.
Most importantly, controllers. I can play that one.
I was trying to put my finger on what the vibe was, and at the very end of the trailer, they say inspired by games like Fable. They really struck an interesting vibe. It seems like it's got a lot of soul and heart in it.
We've talked about music a lot today. I just want to say that was something I noticed right there. That flute, there's something about a flute. When a flute starts playing,
when the
in a fantasy game, dude.
When the flute started playing, he was like, oh my god.
I'm ready to go to war.
No, the game looks really nice. It looks very well detailed, and I can't wait to try it.
They angled it that, like, hey, you can do this thing. You can really focus on combat and the main quest line, the main story, but this is also an expansive world where there are a bunch of little side stories where you can go to these individual side characters and, like, help them catch their chicken. Or murder mystery or whatever it is. And I feel like that's what builds out a world and makes it feel more full. So I think it looks great. Third, we had Dragon Twin. I don't even know if we're...
Let's ride!
Dude, you can make your own dragon. There's a character creator for your dragon.
Did you see the neck customizer? I mean, like, Jake was like...
To be fair, is very early in production. They're working on all these systems for Dragon Flight, and as they mentioned in the trailer, it's still a work in progress. They're like finding the game and what it's going to be based on funding, Patreon support, things like that. But I mean, just like imagining the vision of a kingdom builder where like you're in command of dragons like Khaleesi, like inject that into my veins. It's another one of those games I didn't know I needed or wanted, but
never even came across your mind. You're like, wait a second.
So you see, and you're like, of course.
Of course I need that.
I can't wait to see.
Yap session. My gosh, I don't care.
Pretty open-ended. Like, we saw some battle scenes. We saw some light with other dragons maybe fighting, and how that's going to come into play. I'm really curious
The movement, I mean, you're going to get some Battlefield pilots.
It's so cinematic.
The cinematic shots you're going to get with that dragon is going to be crazy.
Next up, we have some exclusive content coming from Munfish, a comparison of the twins from Atomic Heart, now in the cube. A very exciting game I think we're all looking forward to. And for Atomic Heart, some new screenshots from their DLC number 4. On top of that, there is also Immortal Gates of Pyre that we had an incredible interview with that Jake hosted, where we talked a little bit about the making of the game, the people behind it, and RTS in general.
Any games from this list? Not really. There's a space game that's like, it looks cool. Like you can go different places, a lot of missions. You can go different planets. There's a hub you can meet other people at. That's cool, but that's about the only thing I've seen so far. Like all these other games are just ain't that good to me.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it is.
It's in the sky, a giant cube.
A bunch of mid.
I barely believe it myself. When it showed up, I was in the lab. I didn't even see it. You know? I felt that same fear, though. A terrible sense of my own powerlessness. How did the whole of humanity miss it? And did we actually miss it? What if the cube didn't appear, but revealed itself? What if it was always there, and we've only just started to see it?
Okay, this trailer's confusing me. I feel like there's a lot more in this than there needs to be. The cube? I'm good. They were just making anything. Like I'm not a fan of this game
So
either.
Immortal Gates of Pyre is an attempt to modernize and make more accessible the RTS genre while simultaneously keeping all of the complexity and the
I don't know,
opportunities
man.
for mastery that have made RTS so popular over the
Just
years.
don't look
So
good to
it's,
me.
I would refer to it as a Blizzard style RTS, the fast action, big battles, very tactical, kind of very rapid fire chess. We realized that RTS, in part because it was dominated by a few big players, never really went through the kind of indie transformational experimentation. Some of the companies that tried to do so did so by stripping away features or losing some of the things that really made RTS great. In the early days, we surveyed a lot of players in both MOBA and RTS communities and found that they really loved the fantasy of commanding an army. RTS, at the end of the day, if you were to strip it all away, is just you're commanding an army, another guy's commanding an army in real time.
Yeah.
Right? Because you get individual unit control, it can be very overwhelming, and because you're also building those units, because you're building a base, because you're having to do so much macroing along with the microing simultaneously, that for most players it just gets overwhelming and complicated. And so we worked through it kind of line by line, trying to figure out what are the rote tasks, what are the things that players are required to do that are not really decisions, that are more just chores, right? And how do we make more and more of the complexity in the game, but optional, opt-in. We refer to it as opt-in complexity. And then simultaneously, how do we create
Minecraft
a world
time?
and
I'm weak.
experiences and game modes that people want to be a part of? We want to.
I'm hoping they have a heavy. I know E3 when they did, they had a heavy hitter last game.
People want this fantasy. They want this experience. A lot of it has to do with things like the UI and the UX, the unit design.
I'm hoping
and
that's
a
the
lot
case,
of that opt-in
but
complexity. So, for example, in most RTSs, you always have to be building workers. If you're not building workers, you're falling behind on your economy and you're screwed. The correct move with very few exceptions, is to build a worker every chance you get. So we made that automated,
Like this.
but have a toggle. If you want to turn it off, you can. So if you're trying to do a specific timing,
Just to
attack,
give you
can,
a
but we took
last
that
bang. I think the
away. One of the other things
the
is,
issue with the
in
last,
MOBAs, you
I
have a
think it was
unified command
E3, it was
center,
another
right?
game
All of the abilities,
showcase,
passable abilities
is they
of
had
the
their
hero
best heavy
are
hitters
easy to read.
first,
You can
but
hit
people
all
were
of those
expecting
buttons
a
very
heavy hitter
quickly
last,
on
and
one
it was a
hit.
very trash. I
We
forgot what game that
redesigned
was.
the UI
I think it was
UX
Concord.
to be the same way. So you can select your whole armor
So
with
I'm
one button
hoping
by
they have a
default,
heavy hitter.
and
I
then
hope
all
they
of
didn't just
the
put their
abilities,
best game in the
passable
mix,
abilities
which
of
is
their
that
armor
space
are
game.
also on that one unified command card.
Because that would,
One of the
this is the
things that
first,
people often
the
tell us is that
NG,
when they watch our
the
game,
new
it
game
looks like
showcase is the
an
first
RTS, but when
showcase,
they
I
play it,
believe.
it almost
I
plays
think it's their
more
first
like a MOBA
showcase.
in terms of how they're commanding their army.
Be a very
However,
bad
the
start
idea
if that's
was
the
if we
case.
bring
So I hope
top,
they have a heavy hitter.
10 modders
They need one.
within generally the strategy gaming space. If we bring them all together and we say, if we were to come together and build a game that truly is the next generation of RTS, what does it look like? And that's what we set out to do. The 1v1 or 2v2 PvP experiences, they're similar to a StarCraft or a StarCraft 2. You know, maps. We did redesign them.
I just don't like how much
We
they talk
redesigned
about
the
these
mechanics in a
games.
way
Like,
that 2v2
move
is
on. It's
actually
probably
really,
about
really fun. It's a core support gameplay
30%
mode,
gameplay, 70%
and,
yapping
players, including pro
from these
players,
guys.
they really
Do not
enjoy
like
the
that.
2v2 tournaments. But the
They
ultimate
show like
goal
3
is
games
to
and they talk
destroy
about all
the
the 3
enemies down
games for like 10
centers, and
minutes.
so it's kind of a tactical back and forth with counters and strategic snipings and using immortal abilities in clever ways. So it's great for mastery and laddering and skill gain. Ultimately, at least
Trying
the
to see if
goal
I
is to
can.
have other PvP modes that are more casual or more playful, kind of some chaos modes, auto battler modes, things like that, where if you just have 10 minutes and you want to
See if I can get my
have a beer while
PS5
doing it,
to work.
and you want to do something that's a bit strategic, but you don't want to get that sweaty.
It's
you-
not
you
really
wanna have those
behaving,
experiences
so.
too. That's a big part of the target market that we're looking at, is people that like to be challenged mentally, but don't necessarily want to try to do
See
the
though.
crazy APM and don't want to get too invested in the competition. We want to do a full grand campaign. The inspiration for how we kind of want, or how we see,
Like,
the
obviously,
ideal
no one cares
campaign
about what they're
to build
talking
it
about, right?
is very similar
Like,
to
I
how
know
we
the
say
people
it's a
who are
grand
in this
campaign to be
pre-made
kind of in
video
these different
are looking at this
factions
chat. Like,
and
they don't really give a fuck about
territories
whatever's
and
being
building
said.
new and unique stories.
Like, I'm sure there's like
better trailers that I think
a
we all
10,
saw
a
back
2
around
to 10%
SPF
of people
Saturday
watching. That's
trailer
like, oh, this is a
we're
really cool
showing
game.
with this,
But no
of
one's
course,
trying to
the
hear that.
Twin comparison is new, which is very cool to see the twins for the first time in this universe, if you like Atomic Heart. But the trailer itself for the Cube, nothing new.
The potential for that game is like unmatched. It is
They're
crazy
so
concept.
good at cinematics, and also just like the concept of playing a game like that with the map constantly changing, the biomes changing. It like breaks my brain to think about, but in a fun way. I think.
Like different terrains, different weather.
Yeah. They show that sliding clip where she's sliding, and then as the cube is apparently rotating, we don't know how that mechanic even works with the
Well, I'm
map.
assuming you can fall off. Like if you fall
You
off
would
the
think,
map,
right?
you just like that's. I'm sure
Or
you're
get
dead.
crushed.
And they've
by,
taken
like,
so many
you know?
gameplay mechanics already.
Like now they're just yapping. Like, we already heard from the people who actually worked in the game. I don't need to hear what your opinion is of the game. That's for us. Just show us the damn game and move on.
The world of Atomic Heart's very interesting.
Can you explain it a little
It's
bit?
kind of like it
Oh
is
my
Soviet
gosh.
Russia in an alternate timeline. Where
Why
they
is it
have
that they
robotics,
don't?
but
Why is it that
full robots.
they don't talk about the game that showed? What?
It's a vibe.
That's a good way to put it.
And what's interesting is that from the original game Atomic Heart,
It's
one
a
of
good
the primary
stream.
things people loved
Yeah,
about it
it's
was like
not.
the boss fights, and then like
It could
the
be
outdoor
better.
environments and the art direction. And that is just the cube. And then they're adding in this multiplayer component as well with like it seems like
No, it's
key
bad though.
elements
I'm not gonna lie to you.
bosses that
It's
go
bad.
fight
It's pretty bad.
against
It's pretty bad.
together as the cube
It's a pretty bad
rotates.
showcase so far.
I can't wait to find out more.
I love how open-ended they are. Mundfish are like, we are all curious because we don't know the exact direction they're going and where it could end up. And I was trying to pinpoint like what game I was looking at, because we are gonna flow into Atomic Heart, and I love that tie between those worlds. But I honestly saw a piece of like the finals and the first destructibility and cube movement we saw when the finals first released. There was something about that aesthetic that I also saw, and I was like, okay, now I'm instantly locked back into this.
The DLCs people love. There's already Atomic Heart 1 and 2. This is their 4th and final DLC for Atomic Heart. And I mean,
Oh my
we saw the
gosh.
trailer, we saw the screenshots. It adds new environments, and it looks good.
Yeah.
You know. Then the third game on our list with that one was Immortal Gates of Pyre by Sunspear. Jake, you had a great conversation with Ian.
My boy Ian.
I just don't understand the point of going over the games they just showed. I don't like. What is the point of this format? Why are we talking about something you literally just showed a couple seconds ago?
They've had hands on this for almost 10 years, but they've been working hard on it for about 5, is what they would tell you. And they really want to try and combat, as we all know, like the RTS genre is really hard to get into because
high barrier of entry.
I agree, because it's like you see these games, you know RTS games, and you're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to work on micro, macro, and all those movements per second and whatnot. And they want to try and combat the pillars that have already established themselves in the RTS genre. We know Age of Empires, but we also know StarCraft is the one that people kind of go to. And he was saying they've had these games in the genre that blew up so early on.
And people keep talking about sand in this damn chat. I feel like it's nothing. It's just a meme at this point.
And be somewhat unique to what we already have kind of attached to.
I do like that they're kind of emphasizing accessibility because I think it is pretty intimidating for new players. That's why a lot of people don't want to, kind of turn off by RTS. It's just so overwhelming.
This is why people remake games, because no one has good creativity anymore for games nowadays. It's just about how much making the game look good enough for investors to invest, and then that's it. That girl has no idea what's happening. She legit has no input in the discussion right now. Like, no proper input. It's just she tries to put in jokes that don't hit. That's about it.
But I do want to really support them, and when it comes to cracking through whatever the current the current stereotype in that genre is, they're trying.
He even used the word you suggested.
And one last thing, they're very, very community focused. So, like a lot of the devs we've spoken to, they love their community. They found their diehards, and it really has shaped the project. And so I hope we see it in the near future.
Next up, we have what I'm calling kind of a Western section. We have some new footage from the game X-Killer. That's going to be Paradark Studio. There is Far, Far West from Evil Raptor. And
I saw it in the graphic. Alright, come on. Something. Give me something.
Welcome to the world of Execular.
Okay.
We are Kasia and Amadeus, the creators of the game.
And this is gameplay.
This shit low as fuck.
Execular is a first-person action-adventure game that encourages exploration, rewards curiosity,
and never holds your hand.
You play as Denzel Phoenix, an Execular, a corporate bounty hunter.
Okay.
Execulars hunt down fugitives and reclaim souls from those who try to escape the system.
One of the game's main hubs is the Tower, a massive fortress city ruled by the Helion Corporation. This is where you accept contracts, upgrade your gear, and prepare for missions.
Job well done, contract fulfilled.
The game is structured.
Why does it remind me of Cyberpunk?
And almost everyone begins and ends in the tower.
Outside the tower lies a harsh, scorched desert. You travel through it in
Yes,
a
on chat,
heavily
giving
modified
off
car
Cyberpunk.
designed
Yes.
to protect you from extreme conditions such as heat and radiation. Inside the vehicle, you have access to your computer, storage, and a working radio.
From your
Timu Cyberpunk. I mean, in terms of the games they show, this is up there. But just because it's up there for the games they show doesn't mean it's a good game, right? It's just been so many bad and mid games that they actually have something that's somewhat playable to me that I just...
Survival is core part of the experience.
Inventory space is limited, and every item matters, forcing players to make careful decisions about what to carry and what to leave behind.
Okay, that's inventory.
Helion's high-tech systems allow you to hack devices, pick locks, and access restricted areas.
Okay.
Your cybernetic implants help you uncover hidden elements and investigate the environment.
That little investigating environment reminded me of Detroit.
Missions
Become
and
Human.
level design are fully non-linear. There's no single way to complete a contract. Stealth, dialogue, and combat are all valid approaches.
Okay.
And can be freely combined.
Was it
In
Hitman
Executor,
meets
every
Cyberpunk?
decision matters.
What's it gonna be? Plata or muerte?
Okay. That's okay. Okay. I'll give them that. This decent.
Hi everyone.
That's decent.
Robert here from Fireshine Games. I am the senior product manager for Far Far West, developed by the incredible 6-person team at Evil Raptor. Far Far West is a 1-to-4 player co-op PvE first-person shooter where
C+.
you play as robot cowboys.
It's
in
really been like
weird
a
Western world. Work
D
together to
for a
kill
majority,
bosses,
so it's
collect bounties,
improvement.
and cleanse the lands of the evil enemy invaders. Today, I'm going to talk you through a short, single-round session of Far Far West. Here, we're exploring the Far Far West hometown, an evolving space where you can upgrade your weapons, spells, and character. Once the team is geared up and ready to go, we can pick the bounty we want to hunt and drop into the game.
Okay.
Now that we have dropped into the map, it is time to head to our first objective. We can travel around the map much faster with the use of our trusty horses, which you can summon with the press of a button.
So it's
When
just an
fighting
extractor?
enemies, I can use different firearms and a variety of spells to do damage or heal myself and teammates. Spells and guns can also be comboed together to make their effects more powerful, spread their damage further, or even create new spells.
I can see people playing this.
To summon this boss, we need to do the obvious. Launch a nuke at its nest. So let's get this rocket loaded with explosives and shoot it into the sky. When playing co-op, you have to work together as a team to complete the objectives and defend yourself from enemy attacks. Right now, we're throwing sticks of dynamite to my teammate for him to put in the rocket, of which he is actually only catching a few. While carrying out objectives, you will attract the attention of the enemy hordes, who will try and stop you. Now we have the rocket all powered up, let's launch it at the boss nest to really make it angry. This bounty is far from over. Now we have to take the beast down. Let's summon the boss and get this party started.
Okay. So does this work in VR? What? Someone said this is definitely a game. I don't think it's. I think I'm compared to everything else they've shown.
And the boss is dead, but we aren't safe yet.
This isn't a game I would pay for.
Station to get the last train
It's a game I'd try if it was free for like on Game Pass or something, or just free on Steam.
When the train is called, we have to stay alive for its arrival, which is easier said than done when the whole of the Far West wants you dead. We made it out alive. Well, some of us. Which means we get to keep the resources we found along the way. These will allow us to upgrade our characters even more and be stronger for the next bounty. This was just one simple game of Far Far West. There are multiple bosses, maps, objectives, weapons, spells,
That's not bad.
upgrades, and cosmetics, all unlockable through play.
I'll probably give this a C. If we give the last game a C plus, I give this a C. C minus.
As a parent, you've got one job. Protect your family. Whatever happens, you do it or die trying.
Someone said, yeah, I wouldn't play this game.
But even if you kick the bucket, you don't stay dead for long.
You reminded me of that this morning. My father, he looked on
Every death costs a decade.
passed on to the next life.
It's probably not a game I would play though. So you keep the stuff you got during your last life? Is that how it works? Then you come back and you try to do better?
First up, we saw X Killer.
Oh, here we
that's
go
coming
with the
from
Yap
Studio.
session, bro.
It's kind of, I mean, the vibes look great to me. It was reminding me a little bit, you disagreed, but like a cyberpunk in the wild.
No,
in the
I
West.
just see it. I just see it.
When the animation work was the world building.
I think the way it's described is a post-apocalyptic Western-style FPS with a bounty hunter vibe. And so we even saw in the trailer they were picking up bounties. It kind of reminds me of Fallout as well.
Yeah,
a
little bit of Fallout in there.
So I think
My
it looks like a
PS5
lot of fun.
bugging out. I think it's
that
on a
could be
setting.
new kind of like staple in those types of games, to me at least.
Yeah, it's a great combination. I mean, it looks fantastic. Like it's stunning.
That I just can't do.
It's coming from such a small
Sci-fi
Yeah.
cowboy, I'm in.
Yeah, done.
Say less.
Money.
Then we had Far Far West coming from Evil Raptor, Western themed action shooter project. You know, the way I've been describing it, to be honest with you, is Western Sea of Thieves. There's a lot of depth there. It looks like I mean, that's not a bad comparison.
I'm gonna
Sea of
just keep
Thieves is very
showing
fun.
while this
What
Yap
is Sea of
session is
Thieves
going
with
on.
Cowboys, basically?
Well, it's that, but also with
I really
specific
don't care about this Yap
hunts
session.
and like bounties.
Okay.
We're going out and doing boss
Looting
fights with
safe
each other.
mode.
It seems very teamwork based too. Like you saw a clip there where they were fighting the boss on the ground, and one of them was up top, and your teammate threw the dynamite up, caught it, planted it. It looks really cool.
Third on this list, another Western. This game is pretty mind-blowing. I think we're all on the same page for that.
The art
was
style is
Erosion.
divine.
I could see this one being like
This is gonna be a big one.
yeah,
This is
a big one.
Well, like the most compelling aspect of it to me is the time passing affecting not just the world that you're exploring, but also like, literally your daughter. She grows older every death that happens.
I think it's
a
a
decade goes
yeah.
past.
So the worse you are at the game.
If you die 20 times, like she's not gonna
She
be
dead.
there when you get there. You're gonna be talking to a gravestone. But it's just a very captivating art style, like you
It's also
mentioned.
open world.
Open world roguelike. Yes.
We're gonna have people that are gonna want to go deathless runs of this. I hope that maybe there's a glimpse of hope of like if you have a deathless run or maybe a one
That's
death
like
run.
the true ending or something.
There's a
That's-
happy ending, but
Yeah.
I imagine that most other endings are not gonna be so happy, or at least a bit sadder.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah,
It looks
exciting.
really good.
We're gonna see a lot.
Save
from that game.
mode.
For sure.
The Division 2. Wow.
Next up, we have a very exciting
Bob
section
Sanders, actually
for
a thing.
people who like competitive games, shooter games. We have
That was a
an
meme.
awesome interview that Jake did with the executive producer of the Division franchise. We also have Alpha Response, a game
Hopefully
coming
Sanders
from
again.
the original creator of Counter-Strike, Min Lee, or Gooseman, whatever you know him as. Last Man Sitting from Pixel Pizza, and Sand Raiders of Sophie by Polygriff.
Issue with the Division is so repetitive, man. Division 2 is just
If
a
you
different map.
imagine a real world location, the most important city in the United States, Washington, D.C., completely ravaged by a pandemic and struck by the strongest, worst blizzard of all time. And you are going to have to survive and extract the most valuable resources. And of course, that leads us to survivors. So what are we doing? Like, we can't rest on our laurels, our 10-year-old laurels from survival. So we're reimagining it. We're bringing this snowstorm, this weather change to Washington, D.C. And that's something that you've never seen in Washington, D.C. We're going to transform the entire map. We're thinking about it in a very different way with innovations that haven't been seen yet. There's a focus on this to make it such a different feeling experience from the core Division 2 experience. I think we've got something super, super promising here. Survivors is developed with Magnus Jensen, who is the original Division 1 creative director. So this is a guy who lives and breathes the Division. He's so excited about jumping into this type of game mode again. And there is a hint in the title of something that we're going to be doing really differently from everybody else. We always develop with a player in mind, with player types in mind. And I think here we have to acknowledge that the Division 2 has a large player base of passionate gamers. And one of the things that we want to do is really lean into the sort of comfort game of the Division 2. People are happy to jump in, know their way around the controller, know their way around the map. They know how to play this game. So we're going to take that and subvert it a little bit and change the map and make sure that the weather has an impact on you, which it doesn't have in Division 2. So there are lots of little things that we're doing to surprise our core audience. Veteran players, they're going to be surprised. All of these locations that they know by heart, they're going to be transformed. So the Division 3 is in production, right? This is not a secret. It's been announced. It's shaping up to be a monster. I can't really say anything more than that, but this is within these walls in Massive. We are working extremely hard on something that I think will be as big an impact as Division 1 was. There's a team in Paris working on this, and they're putting the final touches on a mobile execution of the promise of Division 1. So, Division 1, New York, pandemic strikes, take back New York. This is a brand new story with mechanics that are really fine-tuned to a mobile phone. Graphically, this looks like a PS5. You may have seen the adverts for it. It looks phenomenal, really, really good. It plays really good, and it has a few innovations. You know, the Dark Zone, this area of atypical PvP. It was an area where, much like other games today, popular games today, you could walk around, you could hear gunshots, go over there, there'd be another agent. You'd approach cautiously, feel each other out, and decide whether to partner or to actually engage in PvP. The whole of the Resurgence map is friendly to other agents. So you'll hear gunshots on a corner. You won't need to be in the Dark Zone. It could be anywhere, and you can group with those people. So PvP is off by default, but being able to group up and to see other agents in the streets, that's never been done in a Division game before, let alone a mobile game.
SWAT game? Boo. Damn. Alright, Mango, because he's about to sit on my keyboard. I would not play this game. Drive vehicles high, buddy. Yo. This sand game, people spamming sand, so this sand game better be the top of the top. No joke. It better be the best thing I've ever seen. We can stop showing gameplay for this though. I get it. Get this shit out off my screen. Let's go. What's the sand shit? Never mind. Are they on chairs? Last man sitting. They got an interview for this game.
Where you blast through the environment mounted on an office chair. So you're always on an office chair. And you also have a freaking gun. So movement-wise, it sort of feels a bit like you're skating, but it's also most definitely a shooter.
And you guys also described the game as a battle royale. So does it lean BR? Is it more shooter? Is it a mix of both? How's that go?
So many years ago, there are early like prototypes of the game. It was a battle royale game. And it sort of went viral and got like a lot of followings based on some short videos of the game. But then as we developed the game more, we found that we wanted to gravitate away from that a bit. So we saw some limitations with the Battle Royale gameplay. Eventually the game became more like more of a 4-player chaotic PvP shooter. More like a shooter version of Super Smash Bros., which is like one of our favorite games at the office. There's like different maps, there's different modes also. We worked on the PvP mode. We also made a PvE mode, which is more like maybe best compared to Swarm survival games. So it's more like a lightly narrated story where you go up against your manager and you like go up in the floors of an office building. You have to survive for a certain amount of time. There's more and more enemies coming that become more numerous and more ridiculous as time goes by. There's mini bosses, there's main bosses. And you level up. You get
Stop acting like you care. He having all these facial expressions like, oh, you really did something. Oh, you didn't do shit. It's guns on the chair, bro.
So that's when
Come on, let's
really
keep
ridiculous.
it pushing.
Then you can unlock, of course, new weapons, new characters, new abilities. You can upgrade your chair, so you can.
That was one of my questions. So
we looked a lot at this like early 2000s aesthetic. Which we thought was like really cool, especially like when we started designing the user interface. We felt like, you know, what if the whole user interface just felt like Windows Millennium Edition or Windows XP, and you have that those little square windows, and you have the font that we all remember. So eventually the game sort of became more of this like 2000s nostalgia type game. We also have a lot of like Counter-Strike players at the office. So that's definitely something that I think has had its imprint on the game as well. Imagine it's 2002 and you're listening to punk music and you're playing on your Windows XP computer. That's sort of the feeling that we want the game to
He
have.
put sand in the chat. Sand is coming up. So what is the sand? Is it really Prince of Persia remake? No. Are they dead ass? Someone said, this is the game you guys were soaring about. It's just Western Sea of Thieves. That's the Walker from Wild Wild West. I'm weak.
I say first up, we're going to talk about the Division interview. Of course, we weren't able to get a ton of new information, but they are working on a lot of different projects right now.
I don't know if I've ever talked to anyone else who has 26 years at a
I ain't gonna lie, for the hype they put,
so
that shit was
talking to
dog
him,
shit.
I was doing a bit of glazing because everything he said felt like a storytelling experience. And so we're talking about Survivors, and this is the kind of redone version of Division 1's original Survival. And so it's a snowstorm impacted, weather hit Washington D.C. and it's what he kind of also alluded to as like one of the original extraction shooter-esque like games. But yeah, you have to fight for survival out and weather the elements. He says it's really shaping up, and also original players of Survival are going to experience, he couldn't tell me everything, but they're going to get to experience, you know, remastered things and things that are updated from the original that they did want, but he couldn't tell me too much as to what it was, besides that it's really shaping up and it's really interesting. And both new coming players, you don't have to play Division or Division 2 to stumble across this and love it just as much.
I think with the success, obviously, of games like Arc Raiders right now, you even mentioned that, it's an interesting conversation around, do you try to chase those things and copy stuff, or not even copy, but take inspiration from it, or are you having to come up with your own ideas that you've been working on for 10 years or however long? It's just interesting how they've been working on this for a long time, and now there's a mega popular game in the same exact vein.
Yeah, and he said it a lot more eloquently than I can ever represent it as, but you know, he realizes it's probably a mix of things. Like a lot of other games are doing extraction shooters with certain things here, but they've also had an image of where they want to be and where they want to go for quite some time now, and now they're finally getting to breathe that into existence slowly.
They also talked a little bit about Division 3, which when I say a little bit, I mean like a little bit.
He gave me a quote. He gave me a quote. He gave me a quote. Julian said this. He said, "It's shaping up to be a monster." And I said, I'm going to clip that, Julian. Thank you very much.
I would say a highly anticipated game that they can't share a lot about, but we were excited just to hear that it's a monster, as much as people love these other games. Next up, we had Alpha Response coming from Min Lee.
For anyone who doesn't know Min Lee, the original creator of Counter-Strike, I love this guy. We've had the chance to meet him on a couple occasions, also sit down and talk with him. He went to his first Counter-Strike major this past year. It was an incredibly rare experience to see like such a notorious dev get to see what his game has truly become, and he was there since the very beginning, and then to see like an esport develop out of it was crazy. Not to go on too much of a tangent, but he still has that shooter DNA in him, and so this is
now
kind
we
of
don't want to go on tangents.
Based shooter, might you, and you also
That's
play
ridiculous.
as law enforcement, but the goal is to complete a series of missions, and yeah, definitely remains true to the whole shooter Gooseman DNA.
It looks like Counter-Strike meets Payday, but you're the good guy. I mean, you're the law enforcement.
Then, speaking of Counter-Strike, we talked to a guy who was highly inspired by Counter-Strike, which is so cool to me to have in the showcase. So, like, we have the OG who made this game, then we have a guy who's inspired by that guy. This was Last Man Sitting.
It's so ridiculous, and I love it.
We need games like this.
It feels like a mixture of like Tony Hawk's Skater Pro, but replace the skates with chairs, and
give them all weapons.
And give them some guns. Why not?
The clips are going to be insane.
Yeah.
You're going to see some wild stuff come out of this game. The things people are going to be doing.
And they're still working on a lot when it comes to PvP versus PvE, but at the core base of it, they want it to be PvP based. It's going to be a round based game, and so I believe 4 players, so super competitive lobbies, but I think you can
also a chaotic shoot.
Very chaotic, and it progresses round by round. So their unique feature in competitive balancing is it's the first player to win 5 rounds, but if you lose a round, you get a power-up. So you get an ability, and that is their way to balance.
Even the odds a little bit.
You can even upgrade your chair.
Yeah, so by the end, which you can, and by the end, it's going to be pretty hectic because, of course, if everyone's taking their turns and winning 3 rounds, 4 rounds, whatever, by the end, you're all going to be super OP. And so the ultimate goal is to win that 5th round. You're going to have to beat some pretty high-powered people.
My favorite part of the interview is hearing him say, we're inspired by Counter-Strike, Super Smash Bros., the Call of Duty era. He just wanted to see people 360 no scope others and like made a game out
In
of
an
it.
office gym.
And if you see the trailer, you'll see the agents or the characters, and you'll be like, "Oh, that looks like Counter-Strike," and he'll say, "Yep, that was kind of." We're all big
You just
Counter-Strike
know he
fans.
grew up on the quick scope montages, 360 trick shots.
Well, and I love the idea of like they're sitting brainstorming the game, and he's like, "I want to make a shooter, but what's our unique spin on it?"
Wait a second.
Guys, get in here.
I have an idea.
You're never gonna believe this. You might want to sit down.
It'll make sense.
Then finally, in that section, we had Sand Raiders of Sophie. The developer is Holly Griff as well as Tower House, but the publisher is Tiny Build, who we're all very familiar with. This is a co-op action adventure. You're in a desert world. Honestly, it reminded me of another. I don't remember it. They were like sailing in the desert in some other game, but this. My favorite part about this is that you could see them building your ship. That you're then like traversing the desert
It's kind of
and
like a
fighting
base
people.
building.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of reminded me of Sea of Thieves meets Base Builder.
Rust.
Where you're like, yeah, you're building your own
Rust.
ship. Yeah, it's very cool.
Rust on legs.
There's also normal gunplay too, as well, though, which I found. At first, I was like, "Oh, it looks cool," but then I saw there were like normal guns too. So.
I like it's a new concept. I feel like where they were probably, I have to assume, fans of Rust or fans of different types of games. They're like, okay, what if we make a moving base in the desert, and then you can explode people's bases? Or I'm curious. We didn't see it in the trailer. I'm curious if you can raid other people's bases.
I'm pretty sure you.
That'd be the coolest part. If you
Pretty
raid their
like
their
jump
base.
off of yours.
Pretty
on
sure you
there.
can take other people's bases. I'm pretty sure.
Next up, we have a section that a couple of us are definitely going to be very excited about. This is the 25th year that Jagex has been making RuneScape at this point, which is extremely impressive. I know Jake and I have been playing it our entire lives. We've got old school RuneScape, we've got RuneScape 3, and we have Dragon Wilds.
The Trinity!
Right, so 3 games, massive games that have been around for a long time. A lot of people have heard of.
I think we should just give the room to Jake. We
I
just,
love
like,
it here.
Use the bathroom real quick.
This is my favorite part for all you RuneScape fans.
When we all arrived
I'm
here,
not a
the
RuneScape
first thing
fan,
I
so
saw
what-
was Jake on his laptop, and RuneScape was pulled up next to Twitter.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Did you see
dedication.
how Hunter has like a side monitor just?
He does this.
How many people actually watch
I
this,
didn't
by
know
the way?
that.
Yeah.
It's not
These
even
guys
live.
are across all 3 games. We're super happy to talk about it.
They've done a lot of very impressive things over the
It's
past
not gonna
year, I
show
would
me.
say. They did Varlamore with Jake's favorite, the Gemstone Crab. Just AFK
Oh,
there, it's awesome.
7,000.
Has the Delve with Doom. They have the
Gridmaster.
The Gridmaster this year, which was super fun. I played that one. They also added Sailing most recently, which
Set
is
me off.
the first new skill ever in old school RuneScape. Had a lot of back and forth. My favorite part about it is the fact that they listened to the community a lot with the release of it. The exclusive they gave us was this new logo reveal for the next
Come on,
league
bro.
season. So that was League 6 Demonic Packs. We don't know much more past that. Obviously, Leagues is a lot of fun and probably the most engaging time periods of RuneScape. I think you see player peaks every time. So I imagine a lot of those WoW players are going to come back and be a part of that. Outside of that, RuneScape 3 was also in the news a lot this year.
For a variety of reasons. One of the biggest ones being they removed the biggest monetization methods they had in the game, which was widely talked about and has been for probably next to a decade. Obviously, in the MMO genre, you have to make money to sustain such big games and big servers for a reason and to keep these updates coming. They're not small teams. And so it was that community battle of like, we need monetization, but at what point is it too much monetization? And they finally reached that breaking point.
I think we also have some reveals of some of the areas they're revamping, which is very cool. They're trying to declutter the entire world because right now the game, if you, as an old school player, log on, you're probably like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Most of the time. So that's very cool. They also gave us the image of their anniversary cape, which looks fire.
Isn't that beautiful? And I actually have one behind me.
This is Jake's Avengers Endgame.
Oh, man.
And then finally, we also had Dragon Wilds, which is a game that we are very excited about.
Another incredible game.
We are big fans of those types of games.
Yep.
Valheim, we spent a ton of time on. So when RuneScape announced this, we were super stoked personally and played it. They're in early access, but they talk a lot about their their 1.0 release and everything that's coming.
For those unaware, Dragon Wilds is the survival game inspired by RuneScape. And so being a big survival game guy and my love for RuneScape, it was kind of the mixing of both worlds. So Dragon Wilds was always going to be a big thing for me. And as you said, it is early access, still developing. They are aiming for that full release though. It's still a great game and getting better and better.
If you like games like Valheim or Enshrouded, I would say this is the kind of game
100%.
you would like to play, because it's just like that. You can spend a ton of time building your house and making it better and better. And then they're also adding iconic RuneScape things. Again, we talked about that with like the cube. It's cool to see a world you already love in another format.
The fresh twist.
Yeah. They already have released their roadmap, but we have a lot of cool stuff that is coming to the game that RuneScape players will recognize. New skills come out at each time. So fishing, prayer, agility. You're going to get mithril armor, rune armor coming out. There's
bro, this Yap session got to be the worst part of the showcase, bro. And the games are horrible. But them talking about this is insane.
Which is their next region. You're gonna recognize
at least
these
E3 just showed the
Knights,
trailers
which look a lot scarier
back to
than-
back to
than
back to back
He's
to
not
back,
gonna
and that was
make
it.
it.
You don't need to have a
If this
Yap
is the Black
session
Knight's
about every
Fortress,
detail,
it
bro.
looks absolutely
This is bad.
incredible. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
If they want to be successful as a showcase, you cannot keep
You guys have
doing
heard me and
this.
Jake talk way too much about this. We also have a message from a couple of creators that you might recognize from the RuneScape community.
RuneScape and Jagex has just turned 25 years old, and the recent year has actually been incredible. And what is to come over the course of 2026 and beyond is something that, as a player myself of RuneScape for 23 years, I am so excited. I mean, I think the game right now, old school RuneScape, is in the best place it's ever been. But Jagex as a company is turning into potentially being the best they have ever actually been. In 2025, over old school RuneScape, we didn't just have many different pieces of content, such as sailing, Balamar, Royal Titans, a duo boss that came to the game. We actually also hit an all-time high player count since the game actually released over a decade ago. That is crazy. It's absolutely incredible. But that is not the end. We still have 2026 to come, and the things that are coming in 2026 are going to be crazy. We have the Blood Moon Rises, where we're getting more info at the Winter Summit, the finale, potentially, of the Mauritania questline, but personally, the thing that I am the second most excited for, behind Raids 4. Now, Raids 4, I know nothing about right now, so I can't really say much, but that is the thing I am the most excited for, and have been the most excited for years to come, as of right now. And if that is not everything, we have Leagues 6. And I know one thing about League 6, and that is League 6, Demonic Pacts. All I can say. That's all I know right now. But League 6 will be coming most likely in Q4 of 2026. Can't fact check that. I do not know. But that means League 6 may contain Blood Moon Rises and Raids 4 inside of whatever League 6 is going to be, and that is going to be incredible. As for RuneScape 3, I'm not a huge player or ambassador of RuneScape 3. I am more on the old school side, but there is a massive update that occurred earlier on that I was able to get behind, and so did all of the old school RuneScape community, and basically anybody inside the community. And that was the removal of a microtransaction called Treasure Hunter. And finally, RuneScape Dragon Wilds. I played it when it first came out with Ashenvale, I believe it was called. And then the most recent expansion, Fell Hollow. I recently have played that one as well, and I have completed it. And Dragon Wilds is a game where it's not even fully released. But when I say that, 2026, Dragon Wilds will be fully released to everybody, completely done. But you can play it now. You will only just get the first 2 expansions. And the first 2 expansions as a standalone game is incredible. I cannot wait to see the expansion to the entire thing when we get the entire world, the entire universe of what's going on there. So far, the gameplay is incredible. Whoever's working behind that team, honestly, I feel Dragon Wilds, when it's released later this year, I don't know when, again, it's going to be a masterpiece when it's fully done, when you can start a new character, go through Ashenvale, go through Fell Hollow, and then go through the next 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, whatever level of different realms there's going to be. But you can still play it now, early, and you can play the expansions as they release. Right now, we have Ashenvale, we have Fell Hollow, and we will be getting another expansion fairly soon into 2026, and that will be the release of the Mithril, and I think the Fishing Skill. Honestly, Jagex, 25-year anniversary, the game, the company, everything, it's looking good, and I'm very, very excited for the future.
And if you guys haven't yet, make sure to go play RuneScape, one of the greatest games of all time.
Next up, we have a group of 4 games, that being Darklight Survivor coming from Mirai & Co., Tape 101 coming from Subversa, and Unawake from Reality Art Studio, Nested Lands from 1M Bits Board.
You're dead.
You smell like shite.
All these games have been mad.
Bring out your dead.
That's bad. Backdoors. How many backdoor games are there? I feel like there's hundreds at this point.
For eternity, I struggled to become an aspect of courage, freedom, and honor. So much for the glory of angels. Let it in. Let it burn your flesh. Let it burn your soul.
First up, we saw Darklight Survivor. Maybe one of the games we've seen that kind of blew our mind a little bit. You had top-down, you had third person, and something else.
Oh, the instantaneous switch, of course, between top-down and third person, but then the pixel art, being able to instantaneously
adapt
yeah.
to.
That's
it's
insane.
really, really sick.
Yeah, combining both those features, because you said it and I was like, wait, is that what it's doing? I had to.
Yeah, you consider like just toggle it.
That's such a crazy.
My understanding.
Such a crazy feature.
So it's a game like a roguelike game.
Yeah.
And a little bit kind of like Vampire Survivors in the style of Megabunk. So you can either have the top-down view, first-person view, whatever you prefer, and you swap all the time. Sick.
I think it's interesting to think about the strategy element of that probably that comes into play, like when you're fighting certain things.
Maybe some
Maybe if
bosses
you're
it's
seeing a
useful.
boss
Because
that
on
way.
the surface, it seems like it's just like it's a personal preference thing, but it might actually have its place in like the gameplay loop. Like if you're in a certain situation, like, I should go top down.
Or maybe
real quick.
depending the skill that you use.
Yeah, because you may think that it's just like a gimmick for a different viewpoint or filter or whatever, but the idea that you could use it tactically as a gameplay mechanic too is really cool.
Aiming for early access in late Q1 of 2026. They already have a demo out that a lot of people have played, and we've said this a lot of times. One of my favorite parts about these devs already is that they have listened to their players who have played the demo. They made it a point to tell us, like, we've made 6 patches in the demo based on player feedback.
You hate her?
And I think that's super important.
She really is just
especially for a
repeating
game
what
that
they're
looks as
saying.
good as this,
Literally.
Because it can be a lot of fun. You know, roguelike survival with mechanics we've never seen before, as far as I'm aware. So it should be fun. Next up, we had Tape 101, a game that's probably too scary for Jake to play. If I had to.
I had to literally cradle him while we were watching that. I thought he was gonna.
All these
cry.
things are true. Yeah, you guys know me so well.
What I appreciated about it is it's not a jump scare game.
Yeah, they've stressed they don't want to do jump scares. It's specifically psychological.
Someone said I will admit there's too much talking, but it's not that annoying. It's definitely
You will
annoying.
not have jump scares, but you have nightmares.
You know the thing is, that sounds like something that a developer of a game that has jump scares in it would
Like, this conversation has
You know
no
what I'm saying?
value.
Like, there's no jump scares. You said
There's literally no value to what they're saying right now. Why is this even here?
You just have trust issues because of unresolved problems.
You're 20 hours in, that's when you're gonna finally see the jump scare, and it's gonna be one big gotcha.
Honestly, I would kind of respect them for doing
That
that.
would be awesome. I was definitely unnerved by just the music, whatever's going on in the background. They did a great job.
But there's cool little twists to the backgrounds
It
too,
kind of
right?
feels at times that you're also hallucinating because of like the camera.
Well, it's
angle.
like video camera, and
Yeah.
you were in an RC car during certain points, like exploring it. We had nested lands as well. It's a village in survival, like village management in survival type of game, where obviously very medieval. A lot of, I mean, what was the last shot? Like
Because
throwing
even
bodies on
E3
the
had
fire?
those
Bring out your
interviews.
dad. I will say,
But there was no
love
need to cut back to the
management
host to
games.
talk
I love
for 5 minutes.
management games and sim games, village management sim games. Like this is right up my alley.
This
Probably the
feels
worst
like
way to do
Manor
this, man.
Lords meets survival. So it has a different viewpoint, and you got to take care of not just yourself, but everyone around you.
If you don't, your entire village is just gonna be.
Yeah, they even show you the burning
Oh, yeah.
bodies. Like, yeah, sorry, we lost
Yeah.
some of your peeps.
Yep.
Better make
Done.
better decisions.
What I liked was seeing the blend of, like, obviously you're playing as this person and you have to survive, and he was like hunting stuff and like that. But I imagine you're also recruiting people for your settlement as like the king, and then you have to like choose who to recruit and,
They show
build
grown
out a
out.
village.
Initially, it may start with you doing the micromanagement, but you eventually can assign villagers to go do the forage, go
Kind of like
hunting.
in Power World, how your pals become
Exactly.
your workers without a wage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then finally we had Unawake, a game, a first-person action game, mixed kind of a little bit of fantasy. You're battling hordes with melee, ranged weapons. It's hack and slash. It's roguelike. It looks like kind of like a Doom Skyrim to me.
I mean, honestly,
that
the
description.
art direction was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, those environments, you see them, and it's just.
It's very pretty.
No, but something about it, I don't even know if I have a comparison. For some reason, in the back of my mind, this probably won't make it. Mordor-esque, like, it just looked really good.
Yeah, Mordor.
Very dark version of Mordor, but
The atmosphere.
Yeah, that's
That's like
A bummer version of hell.
that.
Some notes they gave us: expected to launch early access late 2026 as well. They are designing the game to be moddable after release, which I think is really cool. People who like Path of Exile, they specifically called out it's a central skill and stat tree that is similar to Path of Exile, but more approachable. So it's not going to break
expect
it.
a skill forest instead of a skill tree.
Skill force, lots of complexity, lots of interlocking skills, layers of progression.
So I think a lot of it's going to be a game for people who really like their builds of things and like, okay, how can I specialize in this?
Oh, dude, I'm doing this all day. Just
Did you know that the...
Do that for me one more time. Just show me the
and then the double sword grab they were doing. And the fact it's moddable, I would love to see the direction that goes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's so much potential. You could have modders come in, do additional levels, boss fights, romance. Unironically, you could add that if you want it. Like, lots of potential.
I think it's the world is too dark for that stuff.
Well, with that attitude, yeah. But maybe with romance,
Love
it wouldn't be so dark.
Love can exist anywhere.
A mod could brighten the world up a little bit.
Next up, we have a very exciting segment where we actually got to sit down with the executive producer over all of the Warhammer 40K series, as I understand it, Anatoly Shestov.
By enemies from within. By enemies from without. By enemies from beyond.
Imagine you're playing inside Warhammer universe by the guys.
I don't think I'll watch this whole thing. I don't know how long this is for. This is ridiculous.
To find this particular person
This is
in
ridiculous.
charge of bad things, to make Imperium stand for one more day before grumbling to dust. That's basically how I would describe it. Just imagine the true Warhammerish stories where no choices are good, but you don't have an option to go away. You need to get your hands dirty, and it's just a matter of how precisely you will achieve this. One of the most significant changes that any player would experience compared to the Rogue Trader would be more stakes, more value in a surrounding, in any environment that you're playing with. The covers, the
Alright, what I'm
line
gonna
of
do,
sights,
you might see a lot of
read
flickering,
how
so what I'm
they
probably
are
gonna do is I'm gonna turn
calculated,
off
how they are
the stream for
working,
like
and how
10 to 20 minutes.
how much
I'm trying to get my
benefit they
PlayStation
provide
working.
to the party. So
I need to reset
it
it
basically would be
because for some reason it's
more
flashing
playing
like the
around
settings
the
on.
environment. We
I can't change
abandon
because the
the
screen doesn't
step-up
show anything, but it's
mechanics, so
on.
if you're aiming
So I'm gonna see
your
if I can
turret
reset this guy,
behind some wall,
and then
you
if I
are
can,
behind
I
some
can stream
wall.
that.
There won't be like
If
one
not,
circle around you that
I'm not sure if
allows
you're
you
still
to
here,
step
Marcus.
out
If
of
you want
this
to play
cover
something, you
and
can play
to shoot
something.
at anything.
It's
If
Thursday,
you
tomorrow's Friday. I work
cancel
from home
the
tomorrow,
place
so
where you
I'm not
start your turn, the place where you're
tripping, but I
ending
do
your
know
turn would be
you don't
more-
have a lot
more
of time because you have work
significant.
tomorrow.
Other
So
thing is role-playing model. There
up to
are
you,
way
but I will be back. I'm
more,
gonna try to get this PlayStation working.
roles
So I do want to
being
finish
made
Spider-Man.
inside the combat.
I'm not even like 10%
Lots of
away
the
in the
things
Spider-Man 2
making
game.
You roll something. Lots of the things make your opponents roll something. So it's not just your weapon skill or ballistic skill. It's way more
Yap
significant
sessions.
influence of the role-playing choices that you've made previously. Almost all of the combats in the game will have alternative ways to finish them, not just killing all of your enemies. We